Hi guys, welcome back. As you can see, we are in a brand new space and it has taken some time and effort to arrive at this point to get a dedicated film room. And as beautiful as a bathroom looks, it just wasn't that convenient to film in there. Every session I had to set up, dismantle, and after dismantling, I had to make sure all the pieces were properly, stored away and wasn't in the way. Now with a dedicated room, I can leave everything up, and when I'm done, I can just focus on editing or cleaning a few of the palettes off the table, put it back into the makeup vanity behind me. All that extra time that I spent doing setup and taking the setup down, I can now spend on content. And that is a huge deal because ultimately that's what it's about at the end of the day. For me to have a creative outlet and to share the content with you guys, share content that you enjoy. So I think this is going to work out extremely well. The vanity behind me, I hope to make it more interesting over time. As you can see, there's really not much on there right now. We've got my lipstick collection, or most of it anyways, and then on my right hand side, a few things I think are pretty, but I hope to improve my backdrop over time. If you have some suggestions of what I can place on the vanity, please comment below. I think I'll put some flowers on there, and I do have a candle on there. I'm not sure if you can see it, but yeah. I think it'll change over time, and maybe I'll change it up every single video and feature some palettes and makeup and favorites and whatnot. Today's video is going to be a top 10 ranking of fall/holiday/cool tone palettes. Not every single palette on this list is both fall and cool tone or holiday and cool tone, but certainly they would have to meet one of the three criterias. And on top of that, they have to be a palette that I purchased this year. And as for the palette placements, the top spots 1, 2, and 3 were very clear to me. But for the rest, it was a bit of a shuffle. And it just comes down to, I think, personal preference, how drawn I am to it, how likely I am to pick it up. In a lot of the palettes, I think their formulas are beautiful in their own way. They're easy to work with. So without further ado, we'll start with number 10. Number 10 is a bite-sized e.l.f. palette. This is in the color story Truffles. And I will create a tutorial video of this palette. Now that I think about it, I don't think I actually had that. Like for every single bite-sized palette, I do have a dedicated video. This is the only one, so maybe I was saving it for fall time, possibly. But yes, we'll play with this. And this is made in China. Shelf life is 12 months. The reason I placed it at number 10 is, I guess as a spoiler for the future dedicated video, they're not as easy to blend as some of the other e.l.f. bite-sized palettes. I do think the color story is beautiful. I am just such a sucker for like a beautiful shimmery silver for fall time or just any cool tone looks. And I think these shades here are beautiful as well. You're supposed to be able to do quite a bit with, these matte shades here, but they just don't blend out nicely. And the pigment is also a bit lacking. So that's why it is number 10. Number 9 is YSL's Couture Palette Black Opium Sound Illusion. And if you guys remember, I picked this up when I went to the outlets at the end of August. This is the color story. It's really beautiful. The color story is really beautiful, and maybe you're not drawn to this right away, but once I started, creating a look with it, it always turns out so gorgeous. This silver here and this pink here, you put that on top of any of these shades that you packed on and you want a smoky, cool tone look, it just blends right in. It's really, really beautiful. It actually reminds me of another palette that I have in this video, which I will, bring this palette up and talk about when we get there. But the looks are similar, like the idea is similar, what you can do with it. And the reason why I rank this palette at number 9 is there's quite a bit of kick up. The fallout isn't bad actually, it's just the kick up is a bit off-putting, but beautiful color story overall. And this is made in France. Shelf life is 24 months. Number 8 is ColourPop's Mint to Be. I enjoy this palette very much, and the reason why it's at number 8 and not any higher is I don't grab for the palette. I think the formula is beautiful. The shades are easy to blend, they're pigmented, any of the shimmers are beautiful. I'd like to use this palette a few more times, but yes, it would be ranked higher had I grabbed for it a bit more often. This palette is made in the States, and the shelf life is not printed on the back of the palette. Let me see if it's printed on the box. Nope. Interesting. Interesting. I mean, there's some fine print there, but don't see a number. Might do some research on this and see what I find. Number 7 is Pat McGrath's Deluxe Quad Interstellar Icon. This, of the 3 quads that were released for the holidays, is the only color story that I was really drawn to, and so I picked this up. I did do a video with a tutorial, a look that I created that I think is beautiful. These shades are easy to blend, easy to work with. It's Pat McGrath quality, and the reason why I ranked it at 7 is, unfortunately, compared to her Blitz Astral Formula quads from last year, these ones are, in terms of the Pat McGrath wow factor, is, I would say, a step in a different direction. I wouldn't say it's a step down, just in a different direction. And for a holiday collection, I was really, kind of expecting to see something with a bit more punch to it. But if you enjoy this quad, it's a good one. I hope to, have a chance to use it a few more times. Again, I enjoy this color story. This is made in the States with US and imported ingredients. The shelf life is 12 months. And for number 6, I have Dior's Quintier. This is in the color story Denim. You've heard me talk about this over and over again. But for fall, they released, I think, 15 color stories. So quite a few. And from what I've heard, their new formula has been such a big improvement, which I would have to say very little fallout. There is kick up from the pan, but very little fallout, very pigmented shadows, so they're beautiful. The reason why I rank this at number 6 is, you see here, these shadows just falls right in. I mean, it's because of the placement, that's what's gonna happen, but it's a pet peeve for me. It's very hard to keep this clean, and if you're just trying to get some of that, light champagne color and you don't want any blue or green in it, it's really hard to avoid. And the other reason I put this at number 6 is these 2 shades are quite similar, and these 2 shades are quite similar. So if you think you're creating a look using all 5 of these, you're not going to actually get that much difference from it, so it was a bit of a learning curve. I think it makes sense for Quinn to use just 3 or 4 of the shades and not feel like you have to use all 5, but yes, those are the 2 reasons why I put this at number 6. And for number 5, I have Charlotte Tilbury's Dazzling Diamonds Luxury Palette of Pops. This is supposed to be a limited edition for the holiday. I love the color story I created using this palette. It was just so beautiful, soft glam, but with all the glitz and shimmer and glimmer that you would expect for the holidays. And the color story too, it's beautiful, but also very universal, suitable for many different types of skin tones. But the reason why I put this at number 5 and not higher, even though I've had, so many complimentary things to share about it, is the glitter formula does irritate my eyes. And next time when I go back into this palette, I'd like to be a little bit lighter hand with some of the shadows and see if I get a reaction from it, but it does irritate my eyes. Nothing too concerning, but they do get a little bit red, and at the end of the day, I'm just ready to take the shadows off. So I don't know. I've heard from my friend Tracy, she says, hey, it irritates my eyes too. So if you have that experience or it doesn't bother you, let me know. I don't think it's everybody, but that's just my experience with this palette, and that's why I put it at the 5th spot. At number 4 is Tom Ford's First Frost. This is the quad he released for the holidays. It's beautiful. This shade here, it's everything. It's everything. I was about to use this quad to create a look today, and it sounds like I need to find a reason to create a look with this quad for another video at some point, but this shade is everything. This is also his wet dry formula, which that's my favorite formula of his. I've tried some of his matte shades this past summer and I enjoyed them, but to me, it's the wet dry formula that really stands out. And wet dry formula, for those who, you know, haven't been exposed to it before, it just means that you can use these shadows dry with a brush, or you can use it wet. So you can either put a little bit of mixing medium or just a little bit of water on one part of the shadows, then go in with a brush. You could wet your brush and then go into the shadows. You know, there's some options there. Yeah, just beautiful colors. It goes on. It's no fuss. His quads, a good quad of his, no matter what you do, you get a beautiful look out of it. So that is why I ranked this at number 4. Oh, before I forget, I think I didn't do that for the Charlotte Tilbury quad, but this is made in Italy, and the shelf life is also not printed on here. What? Let me take a look at the box. Also not printed on here. I thought having that was mandatory for the States. Interesting. Let's see what the Charlotte Tilbury quad has. Okay, Charlotte Tilbury, made in Italy, has a 30-month shelf life. That is the longest shelf life I've seen for an eyeshadow palette. Typically, they're 12 to 24 months. Yeah, interesting. The 3rd spot, I am cheating a little bit here because this is where I think it also got kind of tough. 3rd spot is Makeup by Mario. What I couldn't pick between these two is, this is the Metals palette, and you can see, I think you saw my Sephora video. Yeah, I still haven't gone in to clean this. I've been busy with this room here. So this is where you can take a bit of product, put down here on this mixing tray. This is removable, so it's very easy to clean. You can put mixing medium, get a molten effect off of these foil shadows. I think this is really cool for anybody interested, you know, if you're thinking of gift ideas, if you have like a cousin, or no, I guess like a niece, you know, or somebody just like getting into makeup, wants to play around, has the time to do that. I think this is a great palette. They're just so beautiful. You can wear a single of these shades on your eyelids and just be ready for a party. Where I had difficulty is choosing between the Metals palette and the Metallics palette. I don't think the Metallics palette is maybe as talked about or as popular as, say, you know, like a Tom Ford quad or Charlotte Tilbury or Natasha Denona or Pat McGrath. But to me, I look at this, it's really, you know, like a Staples Metallics palette. These are beautiful formulas. There's not any kick up, maybe in 1 or 2 of the shades here that have more shimmer in them. There is a bit of kick up, barely any fallout. They really feel very creamy and they adhere to your lid. They might not go on as, you know, very pigmented, but I think you're meant to build them up a bit, and they're just beautiful. Every time I've worked with it, I just really enjoy this palette. That's why I have a tough time. I think this really has a lot of punch and it's fun. This is more of a staple, a very usable palette. But I think these are fantastic releases, initial releases by Mario, and that's why I place these at number 3. Now, these are both made in Italy, and they have a shelf life here of, and it's really too tiny for me to see. Look at this. It's tiny. It's really, really tiny. I believe that says 18 months. Anyway, second spot is Natasha Denona's Glam Palette. Beautiful if you love cool tone or you like cool tone palettes with a twist to it. She is it. Gorgeous. She is it. Yep, I think I'll just leave that there. For that reason, she's number 2. And for the top spot, it might look like I cheated, but I didn't, because they're from the same collection, same holiday collection. This is the Dior's Golden Nights holiday collection. These are the Dior Quints. This is Black Night. So beautiful. And the other one, Golden Show. Gorgeous. Golden Show is what I use for today's eye look, and right after this we'll get right into the tutorial. Now, at the beginning of this video, earlier in the ranking, I said, hey, the YSL palette is very similar to another palette that I have on this list. That is Black Night. The colors are not the same, but there's definitely some similarities on how you go about using the shades and creating a look, because you've got a deep shade here, another deep shade that is purpley or burgundy, deep black shade, burgundy shade. Instead of the blues that we have here, or I guess this is blue and this is black with blue shimmer. So instead of that, they have this kind of cool purple with some silver white shimmer in it. But this silver shade here has the same effect as this. Yeah. The looks that I created are different, but it's a similar idea. So again, the YSL palette I think would be ranked higher if not for, you know, that kind of kick up. But I think both of these color stories I'm just drawn to. I think it's beautiful. Before we head on to the tutorial, I do have one honorable mention. The reason why I didn't make it into the ranking is it's not a cool tone palette and it was not released in the fall. I did get it this year though, and it is too on theme with fall to not talk about it. So here we go. This is e.l.f.'s Bite Size palette in the color story Pumpkin Spice. No, Pumpkin Pie. Pumpkin Pie. It's beautiful. I have a dedicated video. I'll link it above. And out of all the Bite Size palettes that I've tried, and I think we're going on 6 now, this is the one that is most pigmented, easiest to blend, and so the look that I created with it was also what I thought was really beautiful, and that's why I wanted to have this as an honorable mention. As you can see, it's not cool tone, and it's definitely not a new fall release from this year. Well, there you go. Let's head on to the tutorial. I'll see you guys at the end. I'm going to start by putting this shade all over the lid. Then we're adding this shade here onto the lower part of the lid. Then we're going to buff that out. We're going to use this kind of purpley brown here as an eyeliner on the upper lash line. I'm actually going to add more of this golden green here, right here, because I felt like when I was buffing this out, I lost some of the pigmentation, and you get some nice shimmer from it, but I just want to be able to see this color a little bit better. Okay, and then I'm going to pop this gold shimmer shade here in the center with a pinky, and we're putting that onto the center of the lid. In my opinion, this shade here is really what gives you that holiday pop. And it is so pretty. And with this shade right below it, when you turn, you can see some green underneath. It's just a really cool effect. I'm just gonna go back into the shade here really light-handed because I wanna define my outer corners into the crease a bit more now that I have this golden shimmer right here. I felt like I've lost some definition. I'm going to put on foundation concealer and then we'll be back for the rest. For under the eyes, we're going to take the pencil brush we used earlier from the shade here and we're just going to line that along the lashes for some definition. And I'm not looking for a lot of smokiness, I just want to tie in the colors that we have on the lids. And we're going to take this ivory shimmer and we're putting that on the inner corners. I'm actually going to add that to the brow bone as well. For blush, I'm taking Wayne Goss's Coral Rose, and we're going to use both the blush and highlighter today. For highlighter, I'm actually adding that sort of all over the cheeks and not just onto the high points because I do want an all over glow for this look. For lips, we're going to go with Victoria Beckham's Posh Lipsticks, and this is in the shade Girl. This is the finished look. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you've gotten used to this new space. I am very pleased with how the lighting has turned out. It looks fairly even. That was a struggle in the bathroom because there wasn't just enough space to angle the lighting in such a way that it looks even. And there should be no echo in the sound. When I switched from my initial mic to a new one, that really absorbed a lot of the echo. But in this room, there really should be very, very little. I don't know that it's noticeable, and if it is at all, I would be kind of surprised. So I'm excited about that once I get into editing, and I hope you guys found this video helpful, entertaining. If you have been eyeing some of these palettes and you're thinking about, when is the best time to get it for the holidays, there is a Sephora holiday sales event that is happening right now, and VIBs are going to start November 3rd. So if you're a VIB, the Makeup by Mario, you can get a 15% discount off of it. Yeah, I hope you're able to get what you've been looking for during this time. So I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. Bye.